Hello and how are you? My name is Mohin Mbarak and I welcome you to our very first video of learning how to create web applications using Laravel. In this video series, I'll take you from that level where you are at this moment up to the level where you can make real world applications. I'll go ahead and show you how you can host that application to online, how you can deploy it in other words, and I'll also give you the good practices of how you can create real world projects. If time allows, I'll go ahead and implement one project or two or real world projects of how we can make use of what? Of Laravel. So Laravel is a very, very important technology that can help you to speed up or simplify processes when you're doing what? When you're programming your application using PHP. So instead of using PHP, we really recommend to use a library like Laravel so that you can improve or increase your efficiency. So along the way, and I believe you reaching here, you must have heard of Laravel, so I don't need to polish it so much. But if we start the journey together along the way, you'll understand why you really need Laravel and why you will not regret the reason for why you invested your time in what? In Laravel. So it's a very good framework that can really simplify our programming experience in PHP. So get brave, be brave, and be motivated to start this journey with me together until we finish everything. There are going to be like 15 videos, but in those videos, I'll try to cover everything that you might need to know about Laravel. So with that much said, let's go straight into what? Into business. But before we start, I would like to tell you that this course is not for just beginners or anyone who has never done anything about web programming, most especially in PHP. So at this moment, I will assume that you already know basics of PHP. You already know what is meant by XAMPP. You already know basics up to maybe object-oriented programming of what? Of PHP. But if you're totally 000 at PHP, I've already created another video tutorial series. You can follow those videos and I'll put the link in the description, or I'm going to show it on your screen here on top. First go and watch the basic course for web programming using PHP. So after you finished that, it's when you'll be on the level of joining this course. So at this moment, I'll assume that you already know basics of what? Of PHP. You already know what is made by XAMPP. You already know what is made by MySQL. So you want to advance. So that's where I'll expect you to be. But if you're really zero, then I recommend you to watch the video series that I'm going to put in the description of what? Of this video. So I hope you're ready and I hope you're good to go with me. If you are, then let's get started and see what is really Laravel is. So, okay, so first of all, I'll begin by showing you the platform, or we're going to begin by setting up the platform, and these are the things that we'll need to do what? To get started with Laravel. We'll need XAMPP to be installed on our computer. We'll need Composer, so I'm going to show you what is meant by Composer and how you can install Composer, and then we'll also need Visual Studio Code. So these are the most basic things that we may need when you're going to deal with what? With Laravel. So let us begin by installing XAMPP, but I'll hope at this moment you already have XAMPP on your computer, but if you don't have it, still no worries, we can install it together. And then we'll go ahead and install Composer and then Visual Studio Code. So I'll open my browser. Here it is, and then I go to google.com, and then we type in XAMPP, okay? We type in XAMPP like this. So when you type in XAMPP, the very first search result will be, of course, of XAMPP. So why do we need XAMPP? We need XAMPP to help us install PHP itself, or even running the MySQL database. But for MySQL database, we'll need it later. So go ahead and download the right XAMPP for your desktop, for your machine. So for me, I've already downloaded this one with a PHP 8.2. So you can also download it if you're using what? If you're using Windows machine. So for me, I've downloaded it and I've installed it. So installing this XAMPP is pretty simple. You just simply click on it and then you press next, next, next until it is installed. So once it is installed, you'll have something like this in your computer. Okay, so if I come here on start and I type XAMPP, I'll be able to get this XAMPP, okay? But this is just helping us. It will help us in future when you're going to deal with what? With databases. Also, as well as installing my PHP in my what? In my computer. So I've successfully installed XAMPP. I hope you can pause the video and do the same. Or if you already have it, then well and good. So after installing XAMPP, so the next thing that we're going to do, we are now going to do what? To install PHP Composer. So PHP Composer, it is a repository point of PHP where you can find a lot of packages or what you call libraries of what? Of PHP. So it can help us to do different things such as downloading the libraries of PHP and putting them into our what? Into our projects or into our computers. So let us go ahead and download and install PHP Composer. So again, I'll come back to Google search and then search PHP Composer. PHP Composer like this. So when you search PHP Composer, this is what you'll get. Go ahead and download it. So to download PHP Composer, just simply click on download and then to process and then to you'll find here download and run PHP, this one. So you can either use these commands, but you can as well download PHP installable file from here. So you can just simply click on it like this and then it will process and start downloading. So for me, I already have it. Again, I don't need to download it, but I can open it and then I show you how we install PHP Composer. So I'll come to my downloads, but for you, you'll have to let it download, okay? Let this Composer download. So for me, I'll come here and maybe search for it. Okay, I already have it. Composer, and I already have it installed. So I'll go ahead and open it, okay? I'll go ahead and open the file that I've done that I've just downloaded. So to open Composer, just simply click there and then you say install Composer. So you can say install for all users. It will ask for permission. You say yes. So for me, I already have Composer in my computer. I'm just going to take you through steps. So let it go there where it has recommended to go. Okay, so here it will ask you where to put the path of PHP. So you can specify where you have installed your PHP. But if you already have XAMPP installed, then it will automatically pick the path of PHP, okay? So this is very important, okay? You have to let it direct it where you installed your PHP. So mine, it is here under XAMPP and what? And it has automatically picked it. So I hope yours too. Otherwise, if it is not, then you have to make sure that you specify by browsing to where you installed your PHP. So that's why I said you should install XAMPP, so it should make your life easy. So I'll go ahead and say next. So again say next. Again say next. And then it will go ahead and do it and install. So one of the steps that it will show you, it will ask you if it should add PHP path in your laptop or in your computer. Go ahead and say yes, so that you can be able to run PHP commands in your computer. So for me, I finished installing what? Installing Composer. So if you want to make sure that PHP Composer is running on your machine, go ahead and open terminal, okay, or what you call command line, and then go ahead and try and run PHP Composer like this, okay? Composer like this. So if it has successfully installed, it will have to show you the version of what? Of Composer. Okay, so there I'm running PHP. Let me first exit PHP version. So this is the PHP that is installed in my computer. Hope PHP Composer is installed too. It's not necessarily, but I think, I don't know why, but it will work. So it is supposed to show me the versions, but I don't know, maybe because I installed it twice, maybe. But if you run PHP Composer, you should be able to do what? to install, to show you the version of what? Of PHP Composer. But for me, maybe I just uninstalled it when I installed it the second time. But I'll fix that. Okay, so that is the next thing that you have to do. So after installing PHP Composer, go ahead and install Visual Studio Code. So why do you need Visual Studio Code? It will help you. Visual Studio Code, it will help us write our projects with simplicity, without too much hassle. Okay, so it is a very good IDE, what you call text editor. So to download Visual Studio Code, you just simply come to internet and search Visual VS Code like this. So go ahead and download Visual Studio Code from here. Okay, and downloading it is very, very simple. Just simply click on download and then click on next to install it. And it is really, really simple and straightforward. So you'll have something like this. So hence we have our 3 softwares installed on your installed on our computer. So after having our 3 softwares installed in our computer, the next thing that we're going to do, we are going now to create a project that we're going to use with the one that you're going to work with. So to create a PHP project, to create a composer, a Laravel project, it means that we must have a command. So when you're creating a project of Laravel, you need to create it using what? Using a composer command. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the project of Laravel. So I'll go ahead and search. For example, you can as well search, create a Laravel project command. Okay, so go ahead and write, see, composer. Just simply write composer. I think you are supposed to write composer first. Wait, CMD composer. Yeah, I was not supposed to write PHP composer. That was the mistake that I was doing. I was supposed to just write composer. So to see that whether composer was installed successfully, okay, you just simply write composer and then put version like this. You should be able to see this version of composer showing up. So me, I was writing PHP composer. That is an old way. So right now you can just simply write composer and then it will be able to show up like this. So I've successfully installed composer. So our next target is to create what? Is to create the Laravel project. So to create Laravel project, you can use composer command or a command of composer, for example, or you can follow this documentation of Laravel to do what? To create a Laravel project. So I can come here, you see the project is here. The command is here. It's just simply composer, create Laravel, and then Laravel, and then the name of the of the project. So this is the command that you need to create the project. So this documentation of Laravel is very good, and most of the time you'll find us here. Most of the time we'll be here. So I hope you are still together. What we have done, we just installed a XAMPP, then we installed Visual Studio Code, and then we installed Composer, which steps are very, very clear. So you should be able to run this command and get this. If you cannot get this, if you can run Composer and you don't get this, please don't proceed until you're able to do what? To achieve this. So that's it. So now we're going to do what? To create a project now that we're going to use to practice with. So go ahead and search Composer, create project. Go ahead and just search Composer, create project, something like that. Or Laravel project. Create Laravel project like this. So you'll see a lot of commands there online that will show you how to create a Laravel project with simplicity. So let's go ahead and create our own project, okay? And create our own project. So you see, you just simply say Composer, create project, and then you put Laravel, and then the name of the project, okay? Composer, create project, Laravel, then the name of the project. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy there. Composer, create project, and then Laravel. Okay, I copy that, or you can as well type it. And then I have to open my terminal. So first of all, I'll have to determine where I need to put my project. So for me, I put my project here in this folder of, so I come to desktop, I come to C, and then I come here to where there is GitHub. It is where I always put my project. And I'll tell you why we put this in the folder of GitHub, okay? I'll tell you the reason why. So that is our project, okay? Composer, GitHub, that is the folder we're going to put our project. So if we want to put our project here, there are two ways of how we can do it. First of all, you can open the command terminal from here, okay? Or you can as well open the command terminal and navigate to here. So let me show you both ways. So if I want to open command terminal from this particular folder, what I do, I press shift and hold it. Press shift and hold it, then right click, press shift and hold it, don't leave it, then right click while you're holding shift. Then after right clicking that folder, you'll see a command, an option of open PowerShell. So this PowerShell can also work as a terminal. So if you say open PowerShell from here, what it will do, you will see it has opened your terminal from that particular destination. Let me increase the font size so you can see things clearly. Okay, so you can see I'm in this particular folder, C/GitHub. Okay, so that is where I want to put our project. So you can as well run the command line like this. Then you navigate to what? You navigate to the folder that you want. Okay, so let me show you how we can navigate. Just say something simple. So I'll have to get outside this folder and I come back up to C. So to get outside the folder, just simply type CD and then dash and then the /. It will get you outside the folder. So I'm in the folder of the users. So I say CD -- and then /. So there I'm there, here I am. If I want to clear the screen, just say CLS. So here I'm on the top hard disk, okay? I'm on the top disk. So if I want to see the folders in this disk, I can just simply say LS. So it, I think it is list item. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working, okay? This works in Mac, yeah, I don't know why. I think you can type the directory, so to list for you things that are in that particular directory. So you can see the things that are in this directory. Among them, we have GitHub, we have Intel, this is just nothing but your folder, okay? So I can show you the things that here in my folder C, these are the same things that have been listed here. So what I want to do, I want to go into this GitHub folder and I create my project from there. So I can first clear the screen, CLS, and then I go to GitHub, so I just simply CD and then say Git. So you can type 2 letters and then press the tab key. Type 2 letters, press the tab key, it will write the full name of that folder. So I go ahead and say enter. So when you say enter, it will do what? It will open the folder, okay? So I'm now in that particular folder. So those are the 2 ways of how you can navigate to the folder that you want, by either going there by graphical interface and then right click, and then press shift and right click, and then say open terminal from here. It will do the same thing. Or you can navigate to it like how I've shown you here. So next thing, I'm going to paste here my command so we can now create our first project. But you can as well write the command itself even without pasting it, okay? But just simply say composer create project, and then composer create project, and then you say Laravel /Laravel, okay? And then you put the project name, okay? So the project that we're going to do, I think we're going to do e-news, okay? Maybe electronic news. So in that e-news project, it's where we'll go ahead and explore everything that we may need to know about maybe a simple blog post, okay? Let us call it e-blog. Yeah, let us call it e-blog. Yeah, electronic blog. I don't know. Anything that you want, okay? Let me call it e-blog. Yeah? And then you use that one. So you put here the project name. So you can think of an idea of a project that you want to use to practice with or to demo with. Me and when I'm going to call it e-blog, electronic blog. And then I press enter. So when you press enter, Laravel will start generating the project for you. So what you do, you just sit back and wait until it finishes to do what? Until it finishes to create for you the project. So this one can take a minute, it can take time. So what you need is just be patient and wait. So there Laravel is creating for us project. Don't be scared that we're going to use these terminals forever. No. We're going to use less of the terminals, and a few commands that will be wanting the terminal. you'll get used of it until you have no more fear for the terminals. So you can pause the video and wait for the project to finish, or you can stay around and wait for it to reach 100%. I hope that is the last biggest long process. I think there's still another one. So Laravel is really, really important. You need it if you are a PHP programmer. It is the best framework and the most popular out of all frameworks, so out of all the programs. I mean, out of the plugins or packages of what? Of PHP. It's going to simplify our work really, really, really much, as you are going to see. So let us wait for this to finish downloading, and then we do what? And we resume with what? With business. So go ahead and download what? And download yours. As you can see, our project has completed compiling or creating new project successfully. So it means that we are still not in that project. As you can see here, we have not entered in that project. So if you want to enter into that project, of course, you have to say cd and then the name of the project. So I can say cd to eblog. So you see, that is the folder. So you can as well come here directly and see this folder has been created. You see, with some files, okay? So I'm going to open this folder in Visual Studio Code. So if you already have Visual Studio Code, one of the shortcuts that you can use, if you're here, somewhere like here, and you want to open this particular folder in the computer, you can just simply say, in Visual Studio Code, you can just simply say code, and then put a full stop. And then it will open what? It will open for you the code inside the code of our project. As well, I can as well close it. So that's one way. I can as well close it. And then I do what? I go and drag and drop. Okay? I just simply drag and drop. Let me show you. So I can just simply come here and then come here to GitHub, and then I come here to the entire folder. You can see the whole folder. I drag and what? And drop it on Visual Studio Code. So as you drop it there, then Visual Studio Code will be able to display it in that format. So that's how Visual Studio Code displays in that format. So I'm going to explain a few things of how Laravel project is structured and the meaning of almost each file. So that is our project, and we have successfully opened it in Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to try to explain here some of the folders and the files and their uses, and some will not even need to know them, but you'll know them along the way, the meaning of each folder along the way. So let me try. So we have this first one, which is .im file. This git ignore is the one that ignores non-necessary files, or the file that we don't need. This is the one, git ignore. So the one that should not be pushed into GitHub, okay? So another file that we have is this one, the one that is important. I'm going to show you just important files, okay, or important files and folders. So another important folder that we may need, it is this .inv, okay? This .inv file. Okay, in this .inv file, it is where we'll put the configurations, or the basic configurations, or the constants, or setup of our project. For example, the project name, we can change it from here. So for example, I can call mine eblog, okay? Something like that. I can have, this is the key of the project, and then here you can see we are setting the project to be in the debug mode, or we say debug equal to true, and then here you can put the local, the URL of the project, okay? The URL of the project, and then here we'll have the configuration of database, or the setups of the database, and then here you have the logging files, the errors. Here you'll have the setup of the of the host, and then have the setup also of the of the email here. So you can see this file is basically for what? For setting up the project, or the project features or the project constants. So we have this vendor folder. So this vendor folder, its purpose is to store the files of the packages that we'll be using in our project. So every time we'll be adding the package into our project, it will be coming into this into this vendor folder. And this storage, it is where we'll be keeping the files of our project or things that we'll be uploading to the project. It is just necessary. It is just important for what? For keeping the files of the project, what we call storage. Then we have routes. Routes, this one is really important in redirecting or deciding what we should see into our project. So this is where we'll be making all that logic. So in two routes, we have the route for API. So this is the route for the what? For the API. And I'll explain that when we proceed. This is the route for the what? For the web, the one that we'll use most when you're dealing with the project. Then we have resources. Resources, this is how we'll be putting the public things. I mean things, static things. For example, CSS, HTML. So we'll be putting them into this into these resources. And then we have public. So in this public, it is also we putting public things like images, like audio files, things that we want to access in public. We'll be putting them in this public folder. And then we have database. This is how we'll be working with the database, such as migrations or migrating from one point. I mean, migrating the information, creating tables, etc. All the database management will be here under this folder of database. And then here you have configuration file. This configuration file also have important file that you may use for configuration. For example, this app. So this app will contain the basic information of the file of the project. For example, setting time, zone, setting the application name, setting whether the application should be in environment or not. That is where we'll be managing them here under under app.php. Then other one, this one is for authentication, setting up the authentications. We'll be using this one. And then we'll have this one for database. So this one will be used to set the database, what you should use for database. But this one can also reference from what? From .env file. And then we have file system. This one will be used for setting up the files. Where should the files go? Where should the uploaded image go? etc. So this is one that we'll be using. It's called file system. So we have also for mail, etc. But this one just breaks .env. But you can see it is referencing what? The env The env file. So that is configuration. Then we have bootstrap. It is where we have a file that will be called at first when the project starts executing. And then we have app. Here in app, it is where we'll have things like HTTP controllers, and we'll explain what is meant by controller as we proceed. And also have the middlewares, and I'll also explain what's meant by the middlewares as we proceed. Also, inside the app, we'll have the models. Okay, I'll also explain what is meant by what? By model. And then also the providers. So even though these folders might have not make a lot of sense to you, don't worry. Don't worry. You'll understand everything as we proceed. So even though they confuse you, you did not understand anything, don't worry. As long as you've successfully created your project and it is running in your computer like this, it is showing these files in your computer like this, and then the rest, don't worry, you're going to implement them along the way, and you'll do it and you'll understand. So that is our project. So of course you know what next. So what next is to do what? Is to run the project. So you can run this project using terminal, and Visual Studio Code comes with its own terminal. So you can use the terminal of Visual Studio Code, or you can use your own, the public terminal or the normal terminal. So if I want to use Visual Studio Code to run this project, what I do will have to open the terminal of Visual Studio Code. So to open the terminal of Visual Studio Code, you just simply press Ctrl, Shift, and the tilde button. Tilde. Do you know tilde? That button below escape. Okay. So do like that. You'll be able to get what? You'll be able to get a terminal. Or you can just simply click here and say new terminal. So by doing like that, you'll be able to do what? To get the terminal. Okay. Or you can simply navigate to that terminal like the way I showed you, okay? And then come to this project and then run. And run it and then start it, okay? So let me show you both ways. So to run the project, you can use this one, okay? Or you can just simply open your terminal, okay? Here it is. And then let us navigate to where the project could be. Okay, let me close the terminal and open it again. So there is the terminal. So let us navigate to where you're supposed to expect the project. So CD, we get out of this and get out of this. Then CD, GitHub, and then CD, eblog, like this. Okay, so there I am. So I'm in the same point here, also here. So the next thing is now to start this project. So I can start it from here using this external terminal. I can use this inbuilt terminal of Visual Studio Code. So let us use this inbuilt Visual terminal, this terminal of Visual Studio Code. So to do that, you just simply say PHP Artisan serve. So that is how we start the project of what? Of Laravel. It is. Let me come again. PHP, then write Artisan serve, like this. So there you'll be able to do what? To run the project of Laravel. So let me go ahead and serve it by simply pressing enter. So it will process, and you can see that the server has started. And if you want to stop it, you can just simply press Ctrl+C to stop the server. Okay, so the server has started here at 1727.0.0.1.800. So that is the server. So you can press Ctrl and click on it, and then you'll be taken to the project in your browser. So if I come to my browser, you can see this is the project. It's just simply 127.0.0.1 and then the colon 1800. Okay, or just there. Colon, because I have something already running, so it is, I have to add the port 800. So you can see our project has started. So that is very beautiful, and I hope you have also successfully reached this point. So if you have reached this point, then it means that you have successfully set up your project of Laravel, and that is so nice. Okay, that is very nice. So if you did not reach this point, just pause the video and go back and try until you reach this point. Otherwise, it is possible, and everyone can do this, okay? So please don't get demoralized just in case you found some challenges. We also did find some challenges, but we never gave up, okay? So this means that your project has run successfully, okay, of Laravel. I can as well stop it by pressing Ctrl+C, as they said. So if I come and refresh, it is not there, okay? It is no longer there. So that is how we start the Laravel project. So there you go. If I refresh here, everything is beautiful. So I have my Laravel project there. So let us now start using Laravel. Or let us see how Laravel can be used. So the first thing that we have to know is routes. Okay. So I'll start that topic of routes in the next lecture of how we can now start manipulating this Laravel project. So don't miss the next lecture where we're going to explore routes and controllers. And if time allows, we'll also proceed to views. So please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and stick around. Don't give up. Let's keep pushing, even though you find some challenges. Just know that it is possible, but don't give up. That's the whole point. Make sure that you are able to at least get this project running on your computer. Okay, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can always get the latest updates. So let us meet in the next lecture, in the second lecture of these videos, where I'm going to introduce now to routes, and I show you how you can manipulate the Laravel project. So please don't miss, and see you there. Bye-bye.